Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, November 10th. We're looking at market profile, window traders market profile of the ES and NQ. Yowza. I am incredibly impressed about what transpired today. Saw something I don't think I've ever seen before. We had a 5 distribution day in NQ at one point. They did take it back to end up with 4 distributions. ES goes out with 4 distributions. We go out with price probes. Variety ends with a double distribution day up, and they took back yesterday's. We're going to be going over all the charts today. We were in balance for one day. Now I'm in bigger increments, right? We weren't getting distance away from prior highs, and yesterday finally took out 4 lows, just missed Tuesday, whatever day's low that was last week, right? Friday from last week. Missed it. Today, the overnight stayed in the lower distribution for the most part. We open up, they try to push down, right? We opened up in the upper distribution. We took back yesterday's trend day. However, they tried to go trend again. We had a small set of single prints to the downside. But when D period opened up, it just shot like a cannon. Now, NQ is different. NQ had 2 inside bars in B and C. Never one time frame down all day, and never took out the IB low. We took out the IB low, high. They only took out the IB high. It's rare to, number one, to see 5 distributions. Like I said, I've never seen it, although we did fill 1, so it's only 4. It's rare to one time frame up. Now, it wasn't for 12 time frames. It was only 10. The most you can do is 12, right? A can't do it. But it's 10 out of the 12 because B and C were inside. We're up in the weekly. We're up in the daily. We're back in balance on the monthly. So if that was the pullback from yesterday, it was 5. It was, look how many time frames it was. 5 time frames from yesterday, basically, right? H through M. Today's pulled back, but never even got close to yesterday's lows. So 8 time frames they tried to push this market lower. I was telling the room, we have 65 time frames in a week. That's 130 for 2 weeks. They spent a grand total of 8 time frames trying to push this market down, and that's it, failed. Remember, we were up $24 last week. Okay? This week, we close up another 6. Very powerful, very impressive. I had a very good week, but I had only an okay day because this kind of move, first of all, caught me off guard a little bit. Not so much that we rejected below A, B, and C, but with the viciousness and everything that we just went and took out yesterday's high for both of us, right? That's a balance high, keep in mind. That's a balance high. Now, NQ played games around it for D period, but then they finally just blew through it, and so did we. I didn't think we would do that so easily. Now, ES got into the gap but didn't fill it. They still leave about 16 handles. But very, very, very powerful. I took the short in ES against the overnight high this morning, and it worked out for 4 points. Then I took the long in B period in ES because I didn't think we'd hold trend, and that worked out. Then I shorted C period in NQ because I thought they had a good chance to come down in one time frame. And I did it against the half back at the time, and it paid me nicely, but they never one time frame down. Now, my next 2 trades I lost on. I lost in ES on the short. In C period, I thought maybe they'd hold the 144. It didn't. It got above it, took it off. Not a big one, 2.5 points. And then in D period, I thought NQ wouldn't go trend right away. I ended up losing 15 points on a short there. Now, I missed this whole grind up. Okay? I tell you, I'm as honest as possible to you guys and gals. Did not long it. Actually, the only other trade I took, and I got paid on it twice, was K&L shorting NQ because I didn't think they'd have a 5th distribution. And I got paid. I did it a bunch of times. and I got paid. So obviously the play was a long. Until we took out a previous time frame low, nothing told you to get out of a long. Nothing. All right, now I kept the room out of trouble. I can tell you that much. I said, look, it's not about my P&L or what I do, but it's about what the market's doing. And I'm like, the only short I would have taken in ES, and I didn't take that, was against yesterday's high, because that was a balance high. Guess what? We blew through it and didn't look back. So we kept the room out of trouble. We had a lot of good discussions. For people who have been following me on these videos, you know how hard it is for me sometimes on these grinds up, but it's still not an excuse, right? It's something I constantly strive to be better at, okay? I'm not going to lie to you like a lot of people on Twitter and just say I was long the whole day, made 4,000 points. All right, hopefully you get more than that from me, all right? But for sure, the Bulls are back in control. As far as our destinations, in SPY, we have today's upside, which is a weekly high now, 440.93, and then it's weak against single prints from the 20th of September, 440.94 to 441.47. Now on the downside, and again, I ask you to write these down because I don't repeat them going forward. It's just too time consuming. We're using a price probe, L's high, 440.42. Single prints, 440.34 to 439.96. Next set, 439.41 to 03. Third set, 438.20 to 437.51. Fourth set, 437.34 to 436.90. And today's low, 434.43. ES. Today's high is 33.50. It's a weekly high, and then fill in the gap at 46. Above that, if they do that, they have their price probe from September 20th at 64.50. For the downside, price probe is 28.50. Single prints are 26.25 to 24. 18 to 16.50. Third set 06 to 99. Fourth set 97.25 to 93. And today's low of 67.75. Now I want to explain something before I get to the charts about these distributions. It's not the amount of single prints. To have a separate distribution, you got to get 3 wide. The most you can get is 5 distributions. And I've never seen it before until NQ did it today. But they took back one of them. So by that I mean, and it's probably easy to show you, well, I'll try to show you in ones here. I don't know if I'll be able to see them. So what is ES's first distribution? D's high to the day's low. That's 1. Second distribution is G's low, not G's low, H's low to H's high. There's 3 wide. Second distribution. Your third distribution starts at J low to K high. That's your third distribution. And then your fourth distribution is M's range. Now that's only 1 wide, but it can't help that. It's the end of the day. Just like sometimes your first distribution is only A period if you go trend in B. So that's how you get distributions. Not because it's 4 single prints, it's 4 distributions. If you were to single print straight up all day, B period to M. Now I've never seen that. But if you were to do that, it would be a double distribution day. It would be A would be the lower distribution, M would be the upper distribution, and everything in between would be just single printing. So I hope that kind of clears things up. Now, let's go to our charts. Starting with the little one, Russell, which is still an issue. Russell right now stretched their monthly balance last month, right? They stretched it by 160, 167. They stretched it by just under $1. But after 18 months, there's no way I was going to say righties down. You got to give it some leeway, right? Because the balance is 160. It was 162.50 to 202. It's a $40 balance. I can't say the monthly's down because we stretched it by a month. Now, if this month went lower, then it's a different story. So right now they're still in an 18-month balance. This is the start, not 18-week, 18-month. This is the start of the 19th month, November. So it's still balanced. Weekly, still balanced. Inside week. Okay? They never took out last week's high. In fact, I wouldn't even use last week's high as my balance high. I would use the week of October 9th. That would be my balance high in IWM. So they're still $8 away from it. So even though your last week was very powerful, right? All it did was put us in balance, and this week continues in balance with an inside week. So you'd like to see, if you're a bull, to come out of the inside week to the upside. And the daily is down. Daily's one time framing down 5 days. So it is an issue because even though ES and NQ have been powerfully strong to the upside, I don't think we could just keep ripping higher with, on those two unless this gets back at least to performing a little better than it is. And by that I mean obviously coming back into balance on the daily and then eventually going up on maybe the daily and the weekly. Okay? So that's why the inside week's important to me, to come out of it to the upside in IWM. So the monthly is balance, the weekly is balance, the daily is down, and you have an inside week. Triple Qs and NQ. Monthly balance. Now, November's just forming the balance. Now, if you want to call a 5-month balance right off the bat, you can do that. I don't have a problem with that. If you want to say, no, it's only a 2-month balance, let's see what we get. Let's see what happens for the rest of November, right? Let's see. But regardless of what you call it, it's balance. The weekly is up. We went right back up. We went down 3 weeks ago, balance last week, back up this week. And the daily, just like ES and SPY, went bull, balance, 3-day balance, back to bull. So monthly is balance, weekly is up, the daily is up. And the next big level for them is 380.83, rounded out to 381. So about $3 higher from where we closed. That's the next daily high, that's your next weekly high, and it's also your next monthly high. So that's the next big level for triple Qs. So monthly balance, weekly up, daily up. Now ES and SPY, balance on the monthly. Again, we're just forming our balance. So let's give it a little time and see how big the balance will be. Weekly, up, right? It's amazing what happens in less than a month. We went from bulls being ecstatic when we took this high out to bulls crying at the end of that week and then jumping out of buildings this week. And here we are 2 weeks later, back to balance and now up again. Incredible highs and lows, okay, in this market over the last month. But for now, the bulls are firmly in control on the weekly. We are up, okay? Now, the volume wasn't that great this week, 365 million. Last week was 460 million when we powerful move up. So we'd like to see more volume going forward. The daily, just like ES, bull. I made it a 5-day balance, right? Friday through Thursday, back to bull. We stayed balanced for 1 day, took out 4 lows and almost a fifth. Wiped out a lot of week longs, and now a new, fresh group are back in the ball game. SPY filled that gap. ES has not. Is the Santa Claus rally on? It's certainly looking like it could possibly be. So very good. The bulls should pat themselves on the back for the 2nd week in a row. Great job, especially in the S&P and the NASDAQ. I hope you guys and gals had a great week trading. Had more people join the room. I have 2 people in my room from Australia. Absolutely love it. These people are up at 3 in the morning trading. We offer a tremendous amount of value for very, very little price. So do yourselves a favor. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. And we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.